Hey everyone, I am going to jump on here quick and just show you what a discussion web is because you may or may not have used one before. So really what you're going to use a discussion web for is just a way to gather your thoughts on some sort of an issue that has multiple perspectives, two ways of seeing it. And so you have a focus question here in the middle. You're going to have a no side and a yes side. So you're going to be whatever that focus question is. You are going to be reasons why people might answer no to that question and looking for reasons why people might answer yes to that question. So I'm just going to show you here, and we're going to go back to the metric system. And so I am going to just go in and I'm going to delete that and I'm going to type in what our focus question was. And that was, should the United States switch to metric? Switch to the metric system. Sorry. Okay. And so I have my focus question in there. Should the United States switch to the metric system? And now I'm going to go through and I am going to get a chance to look at some different resources. It could be during classroom activities. It could be during videos. It could be during articles that we read. And I'm just going to add in here some reasons why people may answer no to that question and some reasons why people may answer yes to that question. And so just for the purposes of this video, I am going to just use an article to show you. So I actually already have one pulled up here, and I'm not going to read through this whole thing with you, but I'm just going to show you where I might pick out a few things that might say, yes, we should switch, or no, we shouldn't. So I'm actually going to go down, and just because I'm doing this on my iPad, I can't point my cursor to where I am. So I'm going to put it right here at the top of the page. And it says, don't get me wrong, the metric system is one of the greatest tools ever invented. It is already the first language of measurement in science classes around the country. The first time I ever heard my kindergarten daughter use a measure, it was for something that said she stood about 4 meters off the ground. She also likes soccer. So I look at that and I think that right here where it says, it's already the measure in science classes around the country. Well, if I can get there we go. I'm going to copy that. And I think that is a really good reason why people might say yes. So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to double tap into my yes side and I'm going to paste that. And I'm going to pick a color. And I'm going to say that everything that I pick out of this article is going to be, what color should I do? How about blue? Okay, so it's already the first language of measurement in science classes around the country, and I'm just going to add my own little blip here and say a lot of people are already using it. Okay, and I'm also going to just add a little blip here where I got this from. So I know it's everything in blue is coming from here, but this is from CNN.com. So I'm just going to give myself a little reminder, CNN.com article. There we go. All right, so I'm going to go back in my article and I'm going to keep reading. The metric system is as preeminent in American industry as it is in schools. Manufacturers made a massive push toward the metric system in the early 70s, which became part of a drive to take the nation metric as a whole. Then President Gerald Ford signed the Metric Conversion Act in 1975. The main resistance, aside from everyday citizens, came from the unions who feared that a switch to an international system of measurement would make it easier for big corporations to ship jobs offshore. They were right. And so I'm going to go back into my discussion web and I'm going to add to what I already have for my yes. It is already the first language of measurement in science classes and industry around the country. So I think that was another reason for yes, but I think there's a reason for no in here. So right down here, so I'm going to put this up so you guys can see at the top of the screen. It says the main resistance was people who feared it would make it easier for big corporations to ship jobs offshore. They were right. So I think that that is a reason why people might say, no, we should not switch. So I'm just going to go in, and remember this is from the same article, so I'm going to make it blue. And I'm just going to say a switch would make it easier to ship our jobs offshore. And then this was also from the CNN.com article. Okay, so you can see just in this short 2 paragraphs that are up at the top there, I've already gotten a yes and a no answer or a reason for why we should switch. And so I could read, or I'm going to read that whole article, but I'm just going to show you. So now I'm going to go into this different article. This is from the USMA Association, or usma.org. And I'm going to look at this first point. It says there are no conversions. The greatest advantage of SI is that it has only 1 unit for each quantity. This means that it is never necessary to convert from one unit to another within the system, and there are no conversion factors for students to memorize. For example, the one and only SI unit of length is the meter. Numerical prefixes may be attached, but they do not form a separate unit. So that's basically telling me, like, we go from inches to feet to miles to, I think there's, I don't even know, furlongs maybe? Is that the next one? So this is saying that in the metric system, it's always a meter. It might have a different prefix or attached to it, but it's always going to be a meter. So I think that's definitely a reason for saying, yes, we should switch. So I'm going to go back into my discussion web. I'm going to go over to my yes side. And this is a new article, so I'm going to make this a new color. Let's go, how about pink? All right. And I'm going to say there... how do I want to word this? I'm going to go back into it and say, we'll just say there is no need to convert between, and I know I have a spelling error there. I'll fix it later. No need to convert between units. And we'll just say all use the same base unit and change prefixes, which make it a very easy system. And this was from what was the website again? USMA.org. Whoops, USMA.org article. And I can go back in. There is no need. Oh my goodness. No need. And there we go. So now you can see that that's kind of how I'm going to do it. So as you're going through your unit, your genetics unit here, you are going to have several different resources where you're going to find yes and no answers to that focus question that your teacher is going to give you. And so every time you have a new source, whether that's an article or a movie or a class discussion activity, you're just going to put that in a different color, and you're going to add your different reasons into your yes and no sides of your discussion web. Have fun.